Welcome to Endeavor TV with the Sony Xperia E1 smartphone, and in this version actually even a dual SIM device. So that means that we have two SIM cards that we can use this one, but there's also a single SIM version available for a few bucks less. So for 99 US or actually euros here in Germany, you will get a pretty nice 4-inch smartphone with even a Walkman key on top. So you have your MP3 player options. You have a 3 megapixel camera in the back, 1.2 GHz Qualcomm processor, and NFC, Wi-Fi, USB, AGPS, and even Bluetooth 4.0 inside, so you can use smart devices like the wristband, smartband, or the smartwatch, for example, by Sony. Otherwise, there's a scratch-proof crystal sapphire screen protector on top, so the glass layer is really scratch-proof. That's quite nice here by Sony, but the display resolution is only at 800 x 480 pixels. So it's not too much, but it's actually enough for this small screen size. The iPhone 5s has barely more with 980 times or 960 x 540, I think. So we have a weight of 120 grams. It's not waterproof, but it has even a radio inside. It's available in 3 colors, white, black and purple. 4 gigs of internal memory are not too much, especially since you can only use about 2 or 3 of those 4 gigs, but there's a micro SD card reader slot, of course, so you can upgrade up to 32 gigs. 512 megabyte RAM is not too much, but with Android 4.3 installed, soon coming with a 4.4 here by Sony, it's actually again enough for most tasks, but you will feel, of course, the difference to a Sony Xperia Z1 Compact, for example, which has, of course, 1 gig of RAM and even a HD display, but has again 3-4 times the price. So let's take a look at what's inside the box and try out a little bit the smartphone also. So I will take the smartphone out at first, since we have the white version, so you guys can see this is what we will take a look at in a few minutes. Till then, here we have the USB cable, which is of course standard micro USB to USB 2.0, nothing special there, for transferring your data and so you can charge your device. Since we have a smart white device, we have also white headphones. These are not in ear, just standard ear pods or ear plugs with one little button here with which you can play and pause your music, answer your phones or phone calls, and even if you hit it twice or repeatedly after each other, you can go to the next song, and if you hit it 3 times, you can go to the last song. In Android with any headphones actually, even with Apple only headphones. So we have here, as you can see, a nice little charger, 850 milliamps, and just one USB slot. Then of course a short little manual, so you guys can read how to use Android for the first time if you have never seen it, used it, how to take off the back cover, what is Android, and so on. Here again the name, dual or D2104, D2105, depending on dual or non-dual. And usually there would be battery also inside, but I already put it inside the device. 1700 milliamp, that's about 6.7 watt hours, I think, if I remember right. But let's actually take off the back cover so you guys can see how big actually that battery is. So the BA900, you can look that up if you want a replacement battery. And under this there's 2 standard SIM-sized SIM card slots for your dual SIM connectivity. Micro SD slot, as I said, for expanding your memory, and otherwise, of course, nothing special in the back that you would not also see when you have the back cover on. Maybe you can see that we have a 3 megapixel camera, no flash, and there's no front camera at all, so that's why it's this cheap phone. Before we go on, here we have the on and off switch, then the volume rocker, on the bottom micro USB, and on the other side, on the bottom nothing, I'm sorry, here was micro USB, and on the top 3.5mm headphone jack and the Walkman button. Just go a little bit closer for that. But of course my camera usually likes my face, so in my review we'll see, of course, a full close-up again. There is a microphone also here in the back, and the microphone also here in the front for taking phone calls. Now, as I said, the device is already on, and even we are sitting halfway outside, you can see quite a lot from the screen, so I'm excited to see if when the sun is really shining directly on the screen, how much you will actually be able to see. So again, with the Walkman button, if you hit that, Walkman app opens up, or you can even set up quick settings like it should just play and pause the music when you hit that button. You don't have to open an app, look for a widget, just hit the button, it plays. Or you can also say it should skip to the next song, last song, or other things. So that's quite cool. Sony should add that, I think, to more smartphones. Otherwise, standard Google apps are installed, or standard Sony apps also. Only 2 pages. We'll take a look at that when the device's review is coming up on our channel. And if I start the camera, you can see it starts quite fast. Of course, 3 megapixels is not too much. And here is how the speed is and maybe a little bit the quality you can see. But again, more about that later. My big regret on this smartphone, it's 99 bucks. It looks quite nice, feels quite nice, has a nice touch to it. It's not rubberish, it's standard plastic on the back. It's still quite not too light, not too heavy, the device, but the screen could be a little bit better looking. From the sides, the viewing angle is not that great. From the front, I always feel like I'm still not getting the best screen, but especially if you compare it to a 120 buck device like the Motorola Moto E, that will of course compare to essentially in the review, you will see that maybe you should get this one, but there's no dual SIM version for Europe, at least I think, of the Motorola Moto E. And this has a higher display resolution, is not that bigger, is actually not even thicker, and the battery is also 2000 milliamp against 1700, and 5 megapixel camera for only 10 to 20 bucks more. So yeah, you have to decide what you want more, or even the Moto G, or of course maybe something like a Z1 Compact or Z1 S, I think in the US. But of course 350 to 400 bucks, a lot of people don't have that money. So for 100, this was the Sony Xperia E1. Thank you much for tuning in. My name is Balazs. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and more videos coming up soon.